Hello and welcome. I hope you're well and you've had a great week so far, wherever you are in the world. So let's get started. So today we're going to be talking about AI. I've personally talked about AI before, but the world of AI is moving on in so fast. It's incredibly fast, and what was cutting edge 6 months ago is now outdated, and what's cutting edge today will be outdated in the next 6 months. So today we're not talking about AI in general, we're talking about the top AI tools that are actually making a difference for SME marketing leaders right now in 2026. So AI is a word that's bandied around everywhere, and for most business leaders, it's really confusing. There's thousands of tools all promising to change how you do your marketing or your sales or how to change the operations of your entire business. But there's one thing that no one is saying. Most of them are a distraction. They're just shiny objects that promise the world but don't deliver what you need it to. So today we're cutting through all of that additional noise. We're not going to talk about the 57 different tools that you need today. We're just going to talk about 7 tools. 7 tools that actually work for SME business leaders in the marketing space. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to decide which ones you actually need. Because the biggest mistake I see business leaders make, a fucking itch. Wrong 4. Please, Lord, just let me get through it. Hello and welcome. Just may as well get it before I crack on. Hello and welcome, and I hope you're all well and you've had a great week wherever you are in the world. So let's get started, because today we're going to be talking about AI. I've talked about AI before, but the world of AI is moving so fast, so incredibly fast. So what was cutting edge 6 months ago is now outdated. What's cutting edge today is going to be outdated in the next 3 to 6 months as well. So today we're not talking about AI in general. We're going to talk about the top AI tools that are actually making a difference for SME marketing leaders right now in March 2026. It's a word that's bandied around everywhere, and for most business leaders, it's confusing. There are thousands of tools, all promising to change how you do your marketing and your sales and reorganize your entire business. But here's a simple matter. Most of them are a distraction if used in the wrong way. They're just a shiny object that promises you the world, but with very little outcome. So today we're going to cut through that noise and that blur that's going on, and we're not going to talk about the 57 different tools that you need. We're only going to talk about 7, and those are the 7 tools that actually work for SME business leaders in the marketing space. And more importantly, we're going to talk about how to decide which one you actually need. Because the biggest mistake I see businesses make is buying the wrong tool for the wrong problem. So I typically see business leaders, and they'll go off and they'll buy a powerful CRM when they don't have many leads, or they buy a content tool when they don't have a strategy, or they buy an automation platform when their process is a mess. So before we even get into the tools, let's start with a simple framework. How do you decide which tool to pick first? And that comes down to one simple question. What is your biggest pain point right now? Is it finding new leads? Is it managing the leads you have? Is it nurturing those leads over time? Or is it creating content that actually converts? Is it understanding your market? Because the tool you need depends entirely on the problem you're trying to solve. If you're struggling to find leads, you need a lead generation tool. If you're struggling to manage leads, you need a CRM tool. If you're struggling to nurture leads, you need an automation tool. And if you're struggling to create content, you need a content tool. If you're struggling to understand your market, you need a research tool. It's really that simple. So The key to this is don't buy an all-in-one platform unless you have every problem I've just listed. Start with the one thing that's holding you back the most and choose the tool that solves it. So with that in mind, let's look at the 7 tools that are actually making a difference for SME marketing leaders in 2026. So the first tool I'm going to talk about is Claude AI. You've all heard of ChatGPT and you may have heard of Claude AI, and to be fair, ChatGPT is fine, it's a great all-rounder. But for marketing content that needs to sound human, Claude is better. It's more thoughtful, it's less corporate, it's less prone to that fluffy, bombastic language that makes so much of AI content feel completely soulless. So here's where you would use Claude AI. So imagine you're a marketing director for a B2B tech company. You need to write a new About Us page for your website, for example. For example, you may have tried writing it yourself, but it sounds still very stiff and full of jargon. You could give the prompt to Claude and say, rewrite this About Us page, make it sound more human, focus on the problem we solve, not the features we have. We would like our tone to be confident but not arrogant, helpful but not subservient. Claude will give you a version that has more rhythm, more flow, and more personality than something you could write yourself. It's also a great tool for brand voice, for website copy, for thought leadership articles, and it's the tool you use when you want your writing to feel like it has been written by a person, not a committee. But key here is making sure that you give it the ideas first. But here's what makes Claude really powerful. You can feed it your entire brand guidelines document and it will maintain that voice across everything. You can give it examples of your best writing and ask it to match that style. You can ask it to rewrite content for different audiences. You could have a technical article and ask Claude to rewrite it for a non-technical audience, or take a formal piece and make it more conversational. Claude is exceptional at editing and refining. You can give it a rough draft and ask it to improve the structure, the flow, and the clarity. You can ask it to make something shorter or longer, add more examples, or remove jargon. It's sort of like having a professional editor on your team who works 24 hours a day. You've got an editor right at your fingertips. The other thing that Claude does incredibly well is brainstorming. So you can ask it to generate 10 different angles for a blog post, come up with subject lines for an email campaign, or you can ask it to suggest for frameworks for a presentation. It's incredibly useful for getting unstuck when you're staring at a blank page. So the other thing I want to talk about is I really want to be clear on this. While Claude is excellent for that kind of writing, when it comes to deep strategic work, I have a personal preference and a personal favourite. And that takes me on to tool number 2, which is Manus AI. This is my go-to tool for strategy documents, for market research, and for thought leadership that needs to be backed by real data. Manus is phenomenal at this. It doesn't just give you summaries, it gives you cited sources, it gives you context, it helps you build an argument that's based on evidence, not just opinion. So, where would you use Manus? Let's say you're a business consultant or preparing a strategy document for a client who wants to enter a new market. You need to understand the market size, the key competitors, the customer demographics, and the regulatory challenges that they face. You could ask Manus to provide a detailed market analysis of the UK's renewable energy sector, focus on the opportunities for SMEs in the solar panel installation market, include market size, growth projections, and their market share, and any government incentives. Manus will come back with a report that's structured, detailed, and cited in a PowerPoint presentation deck as well. It saves you days of research and it gives you the foundation to build a credible strategy. This is why I rate it so highly for thought leadership, because it helps you develop a point of view that's informed and defensible. What makes Manus different is that it's designed for strategic thinking. It doesn't just give you information, it helps you think through problems in a better way. You can ask it to analyse a situation from multiple angles. You can ask it to identify the key challenges and opportunities. You can ask it to suggest solutions and evaluate the pros and cons of each one. It's a fantastic tool that I use for all my strategy work. For example, if you're trying to figure out how to position your business differently, you could ask Manus, I'm a marketing agency or an IT company. I specialise in B2B tech companies. My competitors are offering similar services at similar prices. How can I differentiate myself? What are the emerging trends in B2B marketing that I could focus on? What would be the pros and cons of each approach? Manus will give you a comprehensive analysis that helps you think through your positioning strategy. It's the tool you use when you need to be right. So, the tool that I'm going to talk about now is tool number 3, and that is Perplexity AI. So, Perplexity is a fantastic tool for research and intelligence, but it works differently to Manus. It's more of a conversational search engine. It gives you direct answers with sources. And here's what makes it really powerful. It's intelligent about which AI tool to pull in for each task, because some tools are better than others depending on the task. So you can connect it to Claude or ChatGPT. When you ask Perplexity a question, it doesn't just use one AI model, it evaluates your request and decides which tool is best suited to answer it. It might pull in Claude for heavy writing tasks, and it might pull in ChatGPT for general knowledge questions. It might pull in specialised models for technical questions. It's like having a team of AI experts, and Perplexity is the project manager deciding who should do the work. This is crucial to understand that each AI tool is better at one thing than another. There is no perfect tool that can do all of it equally as well. Claude is better at writing, ChatGPT better at general knowledge, DeepSeek is better at quick answers, specialised models are better at technical tasks. Perplexity knows this and routes your question to the right tool. So, where would you use Perplexity? Imagine you're a marketing manager for a software company and you're writing a technical blog post on how to implement API security best practices. You need to understand the latest security standards, the common vulnerabilities, and the best implementation processes. You could ask Perplexity, what are the current best practices for API security in 2026? Include information on authentication methods, rates limiting, encryption standards, and common vulnerabilities that companies should be aware of. Provide specific examples and links to documentation. Perplexity will evaluate your request, recognize that you need technical depth, and pull in the best models to give you a comprehensive answer to that question. It will give you the information with links to the sources where it came from. Perplexity is also faster than Google and more reliable than a generic chatbot. So the real power in Perplexity is that it saves you from having to know which tool to use. You just ask your question and it figures out the best approach. You could ask it to write a poem, analyse a market data, explain a technical concept, or brainstorm business ideas. It will route each request to the right AI model and give you the best possible answer. And that's what makes it such a fantastic tool. It is the tool you use when you need to be informed quickly and you want the right tool for the job at hand. Tool number 4, Gumloop. So this is where we get into automation. Gumloop is a platform that connects AI to your existing tools and workflows without you needing to write code. So if you think about Gumloop, it's a bit like Zapier, but with an AI brain. And what it allows you to do is to build custom automations that are triggered by specific events. So where do you use something like Gumloop? So let's say you're a marketing manager and you want to automate your lead nurturing process. When a new lead comes in from your website, you want to enrich that lead's data, score them based on their fit, and then add them to a specific email sequence in your CRM. You could build a workflow in Gumloop that does all of this automatically, and that's what makes it so good. When a new form is submitted, Gumloop takes that email address, it then finds the person on LinkedIn, pulls in their job title and company size, scores the lead based on your criteria, and then tells your CRM to add them to the hot lead sequence. It's incredibly powerful for saving time and making sure no lead falls through the cracks. But here's what makes Gumloop really special. You can build multi-step workflows. So for example, when a lead comes in, you could have Gumloop send them an automated welcome email. Then, if they open that email, Gumloop sends them a second email with a specific offer. If they click on that offer, Gumloop adds them to a calendar invite for a call. If they don't click on anything within 3 days, Gumloop sends them a different email with a different offer. It's incredibly flexible and incredibly smart. So you can set up conditional logic, you can create branches in your workflow, you can say, if this happens, do this. If this doesn't happen, I need you to do something else. You can integrate with dozens of different tools and you can do it all through a visual interface that anyone can understand. So it's another fantastic tool that I use myself in my own business. And the beauty of Gumloop is that you can build complex workflows without writing a single line of code. You can set up lead scoring based on multiple criteria. You can create personalized workflows based on customer behavior. You can automate follow-ups and nurturing sequences. It's the tool you use when you want to build a system that works whilst you sleep. So moving on to tool number 5, the Surfer SEO. If you're creating content that you want to rank on Google, Surfer SEO is essential. It's an AI-powered tool that analyzes the top ranking pages for your target keywords and tells you exactly what you need to do to beat them. It gives you a content score and a checklist of things to add, like specific keyword headlines, suggestions, the ideal word count. It provides all of that information so your content can perform better. So where would you use it? Imagine you're a content marketer for a software company and you want to write a blog post on the best project management tools for remote teams. That's a very competitive keyword. So you'd use Surfer SEO to analyze the top 10 results. Surfer SEO will tell you that you need to include sections on pricing, features, integrations, and team collaboration. That you should mention specific tools like Asana, Trello, Monday, and Notion, and that your article needs to be around 3,000 words long. But Surfer goes even deeper than just around things like word count. It analyzes the semantic structure of the top ranking pages. It tells you the keywords, which keywords appear in the top ranking content. It tells you which headings are most common. It tells you what the content gap is. It's like having a team of SEO experts analyzing your competition and telling you exactly what to do to win in your area. What makes Surfer powerful is that it's not just about keyword density. It's about understanding what Google thinks is important for that topic. It analyzes the top ranking pages and identifies the patterns. It tells you which topics are covered in the top results and which ones are actually missing. It tells you which keywords are used frequently and which ones are used sparingly. So that takes us then to how you can use Surfer to optimize existing content. You can paste in your article and Surfer will tell you what you're missing. It will tell you which keywords you should add. It will tell you which sections you should expand on. It will also give you a score out of 1 out of 100 and tell you exactly what you need to do to improve it, which is really important when you're shaping your content. It takes the guesswork out of SEO and gives you a clear roadmap to creating content that ranks and beats your competitors. It's the tool you use when you want your content to be found. And that takes us on to our next tool, which is tool number 6, Jasper AI. So Jasper is a copywriting tool that's designed for speed. It has templates for all kinds of marketing content, from Facebook ads to email subject lines to landing page copy. It's incredibly good at generating multiple options quickly so you can test and see what works. And where the best places for you to use Jasper AI are, for example, if you're running a webinar and you need to promote it across multiple channels. You could use Jasper to write 5 different versions of a LinkedIn post, 10 different email subject lines, 3 different versions of a Facebook ad, and the landing page copy, all in about 30 minutes. So it saves huge amounts of time. It's not always perfect, and you've got to bear that in mind. It still needs human intervention because you're still going to need to edit and refine it, but it gets you 80% of the way there in a fraction of the time. The key to using Jasper effectively is understanding that it's a starting point, not a finished product. You'll need to feed it a prompt, it generates options, and then you pick the best option and you refine that. What makes Jasper really powerful is that it can maintain your brand voice across all your content. You can set up your brand guidelines, and Jasper will use them to generate content that sounds just like you. So, you can tell it your target audience, your tone, your key messages, and it will incorporate all of that into the content it generates. You can also use Jasper for repurposing content. So, for example, you could make a blog post and ask Jasper to turn it into 5 different social media posts. You could take long form article and ask Jasper to create a short form version. You could take a product description and ask Jasper to create ad copy for you. But the real power behind Jasper is speed and volume. When you need to create a lot of content fast, Jasper is, without a shadow of a doubt, your go-to tool. And now on to tool number 7, which is Zapier with AI. So Zapier is a workflow automation tool that connects different apps together, and now it has AI features that make it even more powerful. This is similar to Gumloop, but it's more focused on connecting existing apps rather than building custom AI workflows. So, where would you use Zapier? Imagine you just want to create a simple lead capture system. When someone fills out a form on your website, for example, you want to add them to a spreadsheet, send them a welcome email or to a tool, and notify your sales team in Teams or Slack or whatever tool you're using. You could set up a Zap in Zapier that does all of this automatically. When the form is submitted, Zapier adds a new row to Google Sheets, sends an email via Gmail, and posts a message in your Teams or your Slack channel. It's incredibly versatile for automating the small repetitive tasks that eat up so much of your day. And the power of Zapier is that it works with thousands of different apps. So for example, if you use HubSpot, Salesforce, Pipedrive, or any other CRM, Zapier can connect to it. If you use Gmail, Outlook, or any other email platform, Zapier can also connect to that as well. If you use Slack or Teams or any other communication tool, Zapier can connect to it. It's a highly powerful, highly flexible tool. You could set up a workflow where every time someone fills out a form, their information is added to your CRM, they receive an automated email, and your sales team is automatically notified. You could set up a workflow where every time someone books a call, a calendar invite is sent, a reminder is added to your Teams Slack or Teams channel, and a task is created in your project management tool. But the beauty of Zapier is that it works with apps you already use. You don't have to learn a new platform. You don't have to change your workflow at all. You just connect your existing tools and automate the tasks that are eating up your time. It's the tool you use when you want to make your existing tools work better together. So, where do you start? You've got all these tools. I've mentioned them to you, and there's a choice of 7. Here's how you use them. If you have a problem with content writing, Claude AI for human sounding writing. You've got Manus AI for deep strategic research. Perplexity AI for quick sighted answers with intelligent tool selection. Gumloop for custom AI automations. Surfer SEO for content that ranks. Jasper AI for fast copywriting. And Zapier for connecting your apps. But here's what I think. Most SME business leaders don't need 7 tools. You need 2 or 3 that solve your biggest problems and work well together. So go back to that first question that I said at the beginning of this podcast. What is your biggest pain point? The decision framework and in terms of how you decide is around how to choose which tools to use. So step 1, identify your problem. What is the one thing that's holding you back the most? And be really specific. Don't say marketing or operations. Say, I can't find qualified leads, or I can't create content fast enough, or I don't understand my market well enough. The more specific you are, the easier it is to find the right tool. And think about this in terms of revenue impact. If you had more leads, would that change your business? If you could create content faster, would that help you? If you understood your market better, would that help you make better decisions? So rank these problems by impact. The one with the biggest impact is the one that you need to solve first, and it's the one I would turn my attention to immediately. Step 2, choose the right tool. If it's finding leads, start with a tool like Clay or Ample Market. If it's managing leads, start with a CRM like HubSpot or Pipedrive. If it's creating content, start with Claude and Surfer SEO. If it's understanding your market, start with Manus or Perplexity. If it's automating workflows, start with Gumloop or Zapier. But here is the key. Don't just pick a tool because it's popular or because someone recommended it. Even me. Pick a tool that solves your specific problem that you like working with. Test it a little bit. If your problem is lead generation, don't buy a CRM. If your problem is content creation, don't buy an automation tool. Match the tool to the problem. And step 3, get good at that tool. Don't bounce around all these tools. There will always be new shiny AI tools coming onto the market. Just spend a month with it and learn it properly. And that's where you'll get the most from it. Understand what it can and can't do. Build a system around it. Watch tutorials. Read the documentation. Experiment with different features. The biggest mistake people make is buying a tool and then not using it properly. They buy Surfer SEO and then don't optimize their content. They buy Gumloop and then don't build workflows. They buy Jasper and then don't generate enough content to make the most out of those tools. Tools are only as good as the effort you put into using them. So, as we come to step 4, we need to make sure that we measure the results. Before you add another tool, measure whether the first tool is actually working. If you bought a lead generation tool, are you getting more leads? If you bought a content tool, are you creating more content? If you bought an automation tool, are you saving time? Those are the things that you need to think about. So don't just assume it's working. Track the metrics. If you're using Clay to build lead lists, track how many leads you're generating and how many of them are qualified. If you're using Jasper to create content, track how many pieces of content you're creating and how much time you're saving. And if you're using Gumloop to automate Workflows track how many hours you're saving. And as we're coming to step 5, make sure you add the next tool. So once you've solved your first problem and you're seeing results, look at what's holding you back next. Maybe it's creating content, maybe it's automating workflows, maybe it's understanding your market better. Then add the tool that solves that problem. So here's the key. Make sure your new tool integrates with your existing tool. If you're using a CRM, make sure your lead generation tool can feed data into it. If you're using an email platform, make sure your CRM can send data to it. And if you're using an automation tool, make sure it can connect to your other tools. Integration of these tools is absolutely crucial. The bottom line, don't try to boil the ocean. Don't buy the shiniest new toy. Solve the problem that's right in front of you with the simplest tool that works for you right now. That's how you make AI work for you, not the other way round. The world of AI is moving fast. New tools are coming out every week. Just use a couple of tools. The fundamentals of this doesn't change. You still need to identify your problem. You still need to choose the right tool. You still need to use it properly, and you still need to measure the results. Otherwise, it's a waste. That's everything for this week. I hope you enjoyed the content. And if you did, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe.